CNBC senior economics correspondent Steve Leisman joins us alongside one of the authors behind that piece. Steve?
Thank you, Courtney. I'm joined by Anil Kashyap. He is a professor of economics and finance at the Booth School of Business at the University of Chicago. Anil, thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Glad to be here, Steve.
So you believe that the administration is playing a dangerous game playing with the independence of the Fed. Tell us what your concerns are.
Well, it's two things. First, the fiscal situation has been building for many years and is going to put pressure on the government to issue a lot of debt. So somebody's going to have to hold that. And secondly, the president has been pretty forthright in saying that he wants to just push interest rates down because he somehow thinks that's going to help finance the debt. But of course, the people that are watching that are going to see that if you push interest rates down, you're going to risk more inflation. And this whole thing could backfire in a pretty bad way. And so the basic point of the op-ed was to say you've got to tackle both of these things. You've got to do something sensible on fiscal policy, and you've got to make sure that the Fed, if something goes wrong, is prepared to try to stop the inflation so we don't have to live through another period like we did just after the pandemic where everybody's frustrated.
Anil, obviously you wrote this article with legendary investor Ken Griffin. Tell us how this came about.
Well, we talk on and off for many years, so I knew he was probably concerned about some of the same things I was. So we reached out and we talked, texted for a while, and then had a couple phone calls to see if we were in the same place, and it wasn't surprising that we are. So it was kind of a collaboration. Much more courage for him to come out and say these things than for me.
There's a point. One of the things that we have a development today is the idea that Stephen Myron could be confirmed as soon as the 10th of this month, maybe even sitting for the September 16th meeting if the full Senate can confirm him. Is there an issue in your mind with the idea that he is going to remain as the CEA chair?
Yeah, that's very troubling to me. Secretary Besson over the weekend had a thoughtful piece that had a lot of stuff in it about what the Fed needs to do, and I share many of the things he said. He said independence has got to be earned. It's not just something you take for granted, that the Fed has done a lot of things that you wouldn't have imagined as of 20 years ago, and that they made a bad mistake letting inflation get out of hand. But the thing that's critical is once they realized the mistake, they pivoted very, very aggressively in an unprecedented fashion. If you think back to when they did those 375 basis point hikes in a row, nobody saw that coming. And that's when you require an independent Fed, was when something gets into trouble, and the administration is welcome to not be blamed for doing something like that. And so if you're going to put somebody in to be a member of the Fed, there's got to be no doubt that they're not doing somebody else's bidding. And I can't see any good reason why he needs to take a leave. If they can organize to get him onto the Fed in 3 weeks, then if he wants to go back to the CEA afterwards, they can organize to get him reappointed to the CEA in due course. And let me say one other thing, Steve. The logic for why he's taking a leave is, it's only going to be 4 months. But and anybody who watches the Fed knows, if his term expires, he can stay indefinitely until the president nominates someone else. So that's a red herring.
Are you concerned about what he might do, for example, with the jobs report? Doesn't the CEA chair brief the president on the jobs report typically?
Yeah, I mean, he was asked in his hearing, do you think the numbers were rigged to make the president look bad? And whoever's at the CEA sees the employment numbers before they're published. So they go through them with a fine-tooth comb. They know all about the sampling issues that are there. They're well aware of how those numbers are put together by hundreds of people. There's no chance that those numbers were rigged, and he had to know it. And the fact that he wouldn't answer it is concerning, because that's just a simple fact that anybody who's aware of things would have signed on to in 3 seconds.